5, 4, 3. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Toro Time Live. My name is Dr. William Lucas, and I'm a professor in the anthropology department here at Cal State Dominguez Hills.
My name's Haley. I'm a student in the anthropology department. Our show revolves around the relationship between food and culture. It's definitely taken us a few weeks to get up and running. However, we're super excited to bring 5 guests this fall semester.
So today we'll be introducing or maybe reintroducing you all to Garifuna culture and cuisine. If you're not familiar with Garifuna, they are an ethnic group that traces their origins to St. Vincent Island. And they are a mixture of African, Arawak, and Carib peoples. And you can find them in Nicaragua, in Honduras, Guatemala, Belize. And there is a huge Garifuna population here in the United States, including here in the Los Angeles area. So we have some guests today. First, Chef Janice Coleman. She'll be joining us and sharing some details about all the wonderful food that you see in front of us. We're also going to be joined by the Garifuna Museum of LA and their director, Bill Flores. So they're both gracious enough to come here, share stories with us, share their experiences with culture and also being in the LA area. But first we have a brief video for you all showing some Garifuna dress and dance, just to give you a bit of a visual for what Garifuna culture looks like. So please feel free and enjoy that video.
La cultura africana tiene una gran importancia en su presencia en la cultura universal, porque ha proveído dentro de su lucha la manera de identificar cómo es posible la libertad del espíritu humano. Son cosas ancestrales que vienen de muy lejos, antes de la influencia europea. Ya la cultura africana está fuertísima. Y siempre propone una unidad con la naturaleza, ¿verdad? Que en estos momentos es bien importante que nosotros empecemos de esa manera, porque estamos desbaratando el medio ambiente, ¿sí? No estamos muy preocupados por la naturaleza y lo que nos está dando de vida, ¿sí? Es la vida, la expresión última de lo que es existir, lo que es cultura africana en sí misma.
Hi, I'm Janice Coleman Nirbe. Garifuna Nguya. My name is Janice Coleman. I am a Garifuna woman, as you can see. I'm here to demonstrate how to cook hudutu. It means it's pounded plantains. So here I have the plantains, I have fish, the coconut, I have onions, the bell peppers. Also one of the ingredients is okra. I have onions and garlic and the other spices I need. I had oregano from my garden, from my yard, and thyme. I bought that, I did not grow it. Bill?
First, let me greet you in the language of my grandmother, Wikin Abawayo. Bill Flores Niribe, Garifuna Au. And if you notice, I said Garifuna Au, and Janice said Garifuna Nuhuya. That's because of the duality in our language. The women speak different than the men. So that was just a mini example of our language. Anyway, we are here to demonstrate our favorite food. This is Garifuna food. This is hudutu. As Janice said, this is plantain. And since we are a coastal people, it must be fish. Which is the staple for people of our culture. We are indigenous to the Caribbean. We are Garifuna, but we are also known as Black Caribs. So the Caribbean region. So whenever you think of the Caribbean region, you got to think of the Black Caribs, who the region is named after. The Caribbean belongs to us. The proof has our name. Caribbean. So we are Garifuna, and today we are proud to share our indigenous dish with you. And we have a chef here. And you know, we use the word chef, but actually Janice is a bona fide Garifuna cook. No, yeah, tabago, Janice.
First, we peel the plantains, or you can cook it whole. Peeling takes a bit of an effort, so it goes like that.
Okay, she's taking the skin
I'm
off the
taking
plantain.
the skin off. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. If it's hard, you can always pour a little bit of hot water on it, and it will be easy to peel.
And what would be the name of that in Garifuna?
Baruru.
Get that? Baruru.
So take another one, or you can do this. Just put a line in it and put it in the water.
Right.
And let that boil for about 10 to 15 minutes.
And after it's boiled, you set it to cool.
Cool down.
Then once it's cooled down, then we would pound it into a paste. And I guess that's where the name Hudutu comes from.
So while this is boiling, kabishno baru to yin hiluta hora. Abo wana luta bacha.
Okay.
No, yara luta lil. Take that out.
And then additional ingredients, because that's the plantain, and now she's going to start making the gravy.
The gravy. So I'm going to break this coconut. Take the water out.
And the word for gravy in English, in Garifuna, is la susu.
La sus.
So she's going to make la susu using the plantain, using the coconut as its main ingredient. Now, the coconut gives the name to the dish, because what she's cooking, the gravy, is called falmon.
Falumon. Because this is our faluma.
And coconut is falum.
Taking it out of the shell is a bit of a challenge. So if you're not used to it, then it will be hard for you to get it out. So that's why a lot of people now, it's easy for them to just open a can and do it that way.
You can get the coconut milk already processed in the can. But we like to do it authentic because it avoids the preservatives. And we are indigenous people, so we are earthly grounded people. So and there's another way easier to take the coconut out of the shell. You take the shell off of the coconut, and then the next process would be to
grate it.
To grate it.
And then I have to wash it first.
Yes. You would, yeah.
So
usually,
do I need?
Usually you'd wash.
Yeah.
You'd wash the coconut before you grate it. Now this grater here, these are sand pebbles that is etched into the wood, and it provides something that will shred the coconut, as Janice will demonstrate.
Demonstrate. So.
So she'll do this until all the coconut is grated. And why the coconut is grated? Because there's a milk inside the coconut that is the base for the gravy that she'll be making. So that is why we have to grate it, and I figure you'll see the next step that she'll do with it. And like I said, we are Garifuna people. Our culture was born in St. Vincent. We are a mixture of Africans, Arawaks, and the Carib Indians. So, and we are considered indigenous to the Caribbean. And all the countries that we occupy, that we're in, that we live in, including Nicaragua, Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, and Belize, we are considered indigenous. And it means that designation of indigeneity comes, the definition comes from UNESCO, from the United Nations, which says that if you are occupying a land before the introduction of a state, then you are considered indigenous to that land, meaning that land will belong to you and your tribe forever. So that's what it means when we say that we are indigenous. So right now we'd like to take a break, and yeah, okay. So right now what we want to do, we also have students here from the anthropology department that is going to ask us some questions.
Can you walk away for a second?
Hi, my name is Emily, and I'm also an anthropology minor here, and we are in the student corner ready to ask you guys some questions. So we only have one question at the moment, and that is, can you use any kind of fish to cook this dish?
Yes, you can use any kind of fish. And it's also, if you want to fry it, you can also fry the fish before you put it into the dish.
Okay.
And just about any kind of seafood, shrimp, lobster, counts. All this can be included in there because, like I said, we live by the sea. All Garifuna territories are by the sea. So whatever comes from the sea is what we eat, is what the ingredients for our dishes. You know, so actually it's mostly fish right now, but it is a seafood dish that we can ask with the coconut.
All right. Oh.
And what type of fish are you using today?
Today I'm using red snapper, straight from the Caribbean Sea. Yeah. I brought it back from Belize a few weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
Very special.
So it's fresh and delicious.
Thank you. Well, at the moment, I believe, oh, someone just added another one. Can you use shredded coconut in a bag?
Yes, the shredded coconut, if it's dried, you can't. You have to be fresh, because what I did, I grated. Huh? It's grated, and you can also grate it ahead of time and put it in the freezer. And that way you can use it that way. But most of the time, if it's just a dried coconut from the store, you cannot use it.
Okay, so this coconut, so you can't, like you said, you can't use the dry coconut for this because the milk content of the coconut is very important for this dish. Yeah. Now after she gets through with squeezing the milk from the grated coconut, this we usually feed like that chickens in the yard. We would feed the dried coconut to the chickens in the yard, or we simply use it as lotion. We would take the trash itself, and we would actually use it as you would any lotion. Just rub it on your face, on your skin, all over your body, and because this is what we do, because all the ingredients that we use in anything we do, everything is used. We waste nothing. So there's a purpose for everything that we do.
And so, is this a dish that you would like to prepare with the entire family?
Yes, because someone could be peeling the plantain, one person can be doing the coconut, and someone can be cleaning the fish. So it's like a family effort.
And the hard work is left for the men. The men are usually the ones who pound the boiled plantain into a paste.
Need
You know, you have to, and usually that's designated. That's what the men would do usually after the woman cooks everything else.
I need
So
to grab some water so I can get the milk out of the coconut.
yeah, we need some water to add the milk to the coconut. So
Well, that's all the questions that we have for you at the moment. So if you would like to continue showing us what you're doing.
okay, well we will continue. Like she explained all the ingredients already. So all the ingredients already explained for this dish. So now it's just to coordinate it and put it together and make it palatable. You know, the little water that she's added to it will serve as a catalyst to help some of the milk to come out easier. So the water is the catalyst for the thing. And if you come closer, we'd like to show you what it looks like. This is what this is what it looks like. So this is where the milk will be extracted from this grated coconut.
And a little bit of warm water, because when the coconut is cold, it's hard to extract the milk. So if you warm up a little water and pour it in, it takes out the milk a little faster. Because coconut is, it gets cold very easily, like 60 degrees, and it's solid. So with the warm water, I can get the milk out.
Okay, well, while she does this with the coconut, try to get the milk out, I think we can take a short break, and we will be back.
2, 1.
Hello, welcome back. I actually have a few questions for you. When did you start cooking Garifuna food professionally?
I've always been a Garifuna, so I've always cooked Garifuna food. Professionally, well, I went to school for culinary arts, but I've always known how to cook Garifuna food. So my certification was just to be able to get a better job and not to improve, well, to kind of improve my cooking.
Cool. And I know you said you are Garifuna. Did you learn how to cook from a really young age, or was it something you learned later on?
Since I was like 8 years old, as soon as I can reach the fire heart, I have to learn how to cook. Because my grandmother was going blind, so I needed to learn how to cook. so I could help her around with the chores and stuff. So that's how I learned knew how to cook. And I was always in the kitchen with her, trying to figure out what she's doing so I can learn it.
Do you think your approach to making hudud is unique?
No, it's always the same. It's the plantain, the coconut, it's the same method every time. There's the different kind of gravy you can make though. This one I'm making with the coconut, falumo, and there's another one you can make with the brown roux, and that's called tikini. You can also make it with just water, and that's called duno, because water is duna. So you can do it that way as well. So there's like 3 main gravies that we can use. And also you can use the pounded plantain with any meat. If you're eating any meat, you can also use it that way.
Awesome. Do we have any questions from the student corner?
So one of our questions is we want to know if your dish is associated with any rituals or any kind of special occasions.
Yes, there is a ritual that the Garifuna people are prone to do, which is honoring the ancestors. And when honoring the ancestors, we put food down. It's called dagagade. And whenever there's like a memorial mass, they put food down for the ancestors. And hudud is one of them, and all other Garifuna food. Like tapo, which is like green banana. There's bundiga, which is also green banana, grated. There's marumaruti, which is a king cassava. It's a thicker version of a cassava bread. And several other food, as much food as you want to set for your ancestors. So hudud is one of them.
Do you guys have any other questions?
Yeah, what makes this dish uniquely Garifuna?
The fish, the plantain, the coconut, everything in it is Garifuna.
Would you say that hudud is your favorite dish to make from Garifuna culture?
Not really, because it requires a lot of energy. if people have become lazy nowadays, and I think I'm one of them, and I cook hudud like maybe once a month, because it's usually a daily food. Growing up, it was a daily meal.
Do you guys have any other questions?
Yes, we have one more question. Does the water for the coconut have to be hot or cold?
Depends on the time of year.
Okay.
If it's like in the winter time, when you grated the coconut, it's congealed and the fat is solid. Coconut gets cold and it's hard to get the cream out. So you have to use a little bit of warm water to get the milk out. And if it's in the summertime, the water is warm, so it's easy to get the cream out of the coconut. So I have in the pot the cream already for the gravy, and I need to wash my hands and take this out of the way. This also is called, this is a traditional equipment, and it's made of wicker. It's called a hibise, or a sieve. So this is traditional, this is also traditional.
Awesome. Well, with that, we will be going to break. When we come back, Will and Bill will be talking more to us about Garifuna culture.
Okay, your mic's on?
Yep.
Good. 3,
Welcome back, everyone. So I just wanted to spend some time chatting with Bill a little bit. So Bill, you're director at the Garifuna Museum of LA.
Yes.
Can you tell us just a little bit about what it is that y'all do over there at the museum?
Well, at the Garifuna Museum, we're known as GAMOLA. Those are the acronym for our museum. But at the museum, we display Garifuna culture. There is over 100 artifacts. We have a library with a lot of books that's written by or about Garifuna. We have what we're proud of. We have a heroes room. Those of us that has gone beyond expectations to maintain and enhance and spread the culture. So we have a room designated for those people. Then we have our main room when you walk into the museum, which there's a timeline of Garifuna history. So you read the timeline. It will take you all the way through until the time when we were cast into exile by the British. So visiting the museum is an eye-opener. There's a lot of things and ideas there that you would never think of until you go there, and it would trigger your thought.
Yeah, very cool. I visited the museum a couple of times at this point, and it is kind of amazing just to see the narrative of Garifuna history depicted the way it is, because first of all, when I was sharing this project with people and telling them about Garifuna, there was always this, like, most people just haven't heard of Garifuna. And I guess another element that I'm interested in talking with you is you actually came here to Cal State Dominguez Hills, right? And
yes, I attended Cal State Dominguez Hills.
And you also took anthropology class?
Yes, I took anthropology class as an elective.
Yeah.
I did take anthropology class here. And it's surprised that it comes around almost 40 years later, I'm here invited by the anthropology class.
Yeah, very cool.
Small world.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited to have you. I think one of the things that occurs to me to ask when it comes to cuisine, culture, just society and cultural learning, and this is something that we've talked about, is how so much of culture is unspoken and just implicit, and it often goes without saying.
Right.
And I know that you've had so much to say about that in terms of how Garifuna culture is more than just its dance, because whenever people hear of Hondureños or Garifuna, it's always, oh, punta music,
right.
But they kind of neglect the fact that punta originated with Garifuna culture, right?
Right, and that's one of the things that we're kind of paying closer attention to, because mostly when you say Garifuna, people say, oh, punta people, the people, and we are that, but we are even more than that. We are one of the first nations, if not the first nation in the Caribbean, because even before Toussaint Louverture gained independence in Haiti, independence was already taking place in St. Vincent, run by our paramount chief, Joseph Chatoué. So we have been around for a while, but we're here today to talk about food. And there was a question that came about, because we, Gairinagu, which is plural, we use food for just about everything we do in our culture. Now there's our spirituality, where earlier you hear our chef Janice Coleman talk about laying out food to the ancestors. In other words, we would cook food and we would place food on the table in the respect of our ancestors. Now, people would misunderstand this to say, well, the spirits are not going to eat the food, but that is not the idea. The idea is the cohesion. The idea is the umbilical connection to our ancestors, because in Garifuna culture, we venerate our ancestors. Everything we do is through the ancestors. We believe in the ancestral guidance, and we look forward to it, and sometimes we ask for it because we expect it to be our constant source of guidance. And we're here to talk about food today, but also what's important about our culture is our value system. Value system that's eroding daily with our children here in this new land. Now, our value system begins with our language. The expressions in our language gives specific directions. The man and the woman speak differently, so depends on who the direction is coming from, it adds to the importance of it. You know, so we have to remember that our culture is based a lot on our spirituality.
Right. Yeah. I think this notion of value systems is really important to any culture, right? In terms of like the kinds of things that are typical to instill in youth and in community cohesion. I love that you said that, because that's honestly, we use this big kind of, vague word culture, but
Yes.
it's that, right? It's those interactions that you're talking about. So like the ancestor veneration makes so much sense to me, because, it's all about the cultural interactions, and you're talking about driving them forward and doing more of it. And I think it's so interesting because we also live in the kind of culture, well, at least I grew up here in LA in that kind of culture where it's easy to, especially for youth, to kind of roll your eyes and say, why am I doing this? And why am I practicing this, activity, this ritual, whatever it might be, when really it's just in the act of practicing, you learn so much and you gain so much and you are instilled with culture so much.
Right, and we are, and another thing that we do, we also have this special respect for our elders. In the Garifuna culture, we, well now we do, we didn't have, when the parents and the grandparents get old, we didn't send them off to a home, because there's a function, there's a purpose for the elderly in our culture. They mostly look after the children, cook. Grandma insists on cooking most, if not all, the food. Doesn't matter if the daughter is there, the granddaughter is there. No, grandma is going to control the cooking of this food. That's just how it is. And our elders remain in the home all their life. There's no expectation of any one of our elders winding up in a nursing home or going to one of these homes, because the function of the elder is in the culture. It's a part of who we are.
Yeah.
And it's a part of our value system. We talk a lot. When you hear about Garifuna, you hear a lot about the tangible things of Garifuna. For example, the food, the dancing, the music. We hear about these things, but what we don't hear about is the relationship that we have with each other, the relationship that we have with Mother Earth, the relationship with the spirituality, the relationship with our ancestors. That is what we're fighting to change, because once we keep those values intact, then we'll always be who we are.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Honestly, this is the 4th time I've conversed with Bill, and every single time it's always information packed. I learn something every single time, and as an anthropologist, I just get so much out of learning it. So thank you so much for being here, collaborating with us. So we're going to take a quick break, and after the break, we are going to do the student corner again. So stay tuned.
After boiling the plantains, you can always take the hot water and pour it into your mortar and pestle so that it can rinse it out. And then you take this one and dump it into a pan, let it cool down. Rinse this off. And then pour it out. Now, I need to call Bill so that he can start pounding. Then I put this back in here. And hand it over to Bill. Buge bahudu ay. Semet ma bahudu. I can break it up a little bit.
It's going to spill. Yeah, it's going to spill.
Give you a head start.
Yes. Should be all right.
Oh, okay, and yeah, Bill is doing a good job pounding the plantain. So when he's done with that, we'll show you what it looks like. And our gravy is cooking. I usually let the onion and the other ingredients boil first before I put the fish in. So that way I do not overcook the fish. But in the interest of time, I might have to put it in now. Do you need help, Bill? Okay. So I'm going to take our fish and put it in the pot. One for me. Eating fish like this is like you have to be very careful because it's full of bones. And if you're not used to it, I do not fillet fish, so I just usually put it in whole. So if you don't want to deal with the bones, you're gonna have to buy the fish already filleted and to put it in your, unless you're used to it, then it tastes better when you put it in whole like that instead of frying it before you put it in. It added an extra flavor if you fry it first. I usually fry my fish in coconut oil, so that way it adds more flavor to my sauce if I put it in the pot. I sometimes cook hudut for sale, so I wouldn't put I didn't put the fish in the pot if I'm selling, so that if you're a vegan and vegetarian and don't want to eat fish, you can still eat the hudut without the fish in it. Bill, you're making a mess over there. Tota bachagaru. Baiga bachagaru. I'm telling him that whatever he's spilling on the floor is what he's going to eat.
And I must say, we also eat the fish head. You know, because I know some cultures don't eat the head of the fish, but we do.
So it's looking good. It's smelling so good.
That's not good.
I actually had a couple more questions for you. I know you had mentioned that you cater Garifuna food. What inspired you to do that?
Extra money. Because I'm working, I have a job, but sometimes it doesn't pay enough with the cost of living here. So I always have to have a backup and extra cash I need. So I cook on the side when I come out from my 9 to 5 or 8 to 5. So that's when I do my catering on the side. So it's like a side hustle.
Do you find satisfaction in your work?
Yes. I used to do accounting, actually. I did accounting for about 10 years, and I was like 9 to 5 sitting at the desk, and it's like, oh, tiring. So I was like, I went back to cooking, went back to school for cooking, and then I've been cooking ever since for the past 16, well, maybe 18 years, including school.
And then I know you also said earlier that this was not your favorite dish to make. What is your favorite dish?
I didn't say it wasn't my favorite dish.
What do you like to make?
Did I say that? I cook whatever I feel like eating. I make whatever I feel like eating, especially in Garifuna food, because hudut is one of them, but it's usually reserved for the weekend when I'm not too tired. I can make it and feed my friends, and some of my kids will eat it. But it requires, like when you're finished eating, you need to sit down and relax, or take a nap, take a siesta.
And we'll actually cut to the student corner for some more questions.
So welcome back. We do have a few questions for you guys. So the first one is, what do you use to shred the coconut?
The stone, the piece of wood with the stone, that's what I was using to shred the coconut. And that's our traditional equipment. So it's an ancient equipment, but it works just as good. Now you can take it out of the shell and put it in a blender. You can shred it in a blender or a fruit processor. Either way, it still works the same. And when I'm in my kitchen, that's my equipment. That's what I use all the time. I have a blender, but I prefer to use my stone, my wood on my primitive equipment than using a blender.
All right. We have another question, kind of similar. Wanted to know, maybe could you explain why you use the baseball bat and how you mash the plantains? Because somebody is asking if there's a way to speed up the process or use a food processor.
There is a way you can use a food processor as well. I use a baseball bat because I do not have the proper pestle, is it?
The Hanoru.
Hanoru. So I had to use the baseball bat. So that's what my dad used to use, so I had to follow my dad and use the baseball bat. But there is an equipment that is a little longer than that, and it's shaped kind of weird from top to bottom. It's rounded on the top and rounded on the bottom. So you have to know which end you use all the time, and it's heavier. So this is my next to it, so that's why I use a baseball bat.
Okay. Somebody asked, how do you think food can help younger generations reconnect with their culture?
By taking them into the kitchen, talking to them, and teaching them how to know and what to know about their culture. Speaking the language is especially one of them, because the name of the food you have to explain. Some of the food doesn't even have an English word for it, so it's kind of difficult to explain to a child or someone, this is what I eat, but I'll have to, it's going to be lost in translation if I have to explain to you what it is in English.
Okay. Thank you so much, Janice. Right now we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone. So I just want to say some final remarks that this show, this programming, the production would have been impossible without the support of so many people, including the Garifuna Museum of LA, Calvin, Bill, and all of the people that really run that. On the DH side, there's a lot of administrators, a lot of individuals on the back end that I do want to take some time to thank. There's Leonardo Martinez, the acting interim dean of the College of Natural and Behavioral Sciences here. This was also supported by Eric Ohm and Trinitra Avery over at TAP. There's a lot of people on the support team, including Stacy Freeman, Michael Taylor, and Latina Leslie. Most instrumental, quite literally, has been the folks running the cameras here who have been so gracious with their time, attention, and efforts. That's Dominguez Hills TV, or DHTV. That includes Alfredo Leal, Bernie Clinch, Calvin Sonho Ko, Fidel Garcia, and some much needed, appreciated support from Mario Congreve. Thank you all. And I think this whole project has been a wonderful thing to be able to share with the campus community.
And don't forget to tune into our next episode on October 8th. Our guests do have a couple of final words to say.
We're back. It's with the greatest sense of honor that we give to this university to allow us to share our culture with the world, because this is what we want to do. We want to share our culture with everybody because we know that that's a way of guaranteeing its survival. So, and our food is great. You taste this food, it's healthy and it's filling. So I can't thank Cal State University Dominguez Hills Anthropology Department enough for this opportunity. Janice.
Food is almost done and it smells great. Wish you were here to taste it. I'm sure the crew would enjoy it as soon as it's finished. Also grateful for the opportunity to be here today and to showcase our food, our heritage, and semeti weyi so most wofood ni homu either lubala or habo ni lu yarabela hasubu diragu hongwa lo Garifuna hama. I'm saying that I have to teach people how to cook the food so that they enable them to learn about themselves and their culture through their food.
So remeta we are born nito lo baha lo both of the hani lewu weyi waye garino.
Merci what.
Ayo.
You're welcome.
All right. So, of course, the last, certainly not least, probably the most instrumental person that helped make this episode possible, Chef Janice Coleman, who came sharing her knowledge, her various equipment that's incredible to be able to take a look at, be around. Thank you so much. And with that, that does conclude this first episode of Toro Time Live. Thank you all so much, and tune in, just like Haley said earlier, Tuesday, October 8th at 3:30 sharp. Thank you.